Okay, meanwhile, let us wait, let us get a little bit acquainted. I will, for some reasons, record this class because you will see maybe it later. And I can tell you something about myself and then about also the country where I come from. Hello, yes, nice to see you. And also
to introduce you, but I can see that you have already started, so I will give the floor to you.
Oh, that's nice. Yes, we have already started. I just saw that there are 6 students, and we are waiting for more. And I will tell something about myself for now, and then we will start. Well, my name is Patriks Morevs, so I am coming from Latvia. So in Polish language, if I am correct, it is Lotva. Yeah, so it's the capital of our country is Riga, and we are called the Baltic state. Yes, so we are in the middle of the Baltic states, basically between Estonia and Lithuania. And I am I'm working in the universities actually in the field of information technologies. And I'm giving classes in programming, in computer architecture, and in mathematics. And today we have a little bit of time to work together. And I have decided that maybe we can make a little program in JavaScript, like a little game. Maybe we will manage to do this. Tell me, please, do you have some practice in JavaScript? And is everything understandable what I'm talking? Because I'm talking in English. So guys, how are you? Do you know JavaScript language? If no, then don't worry, I will teach you basics. So we will just have, we will program some game. I hope we will manage to do this all because we have only limited time. Let's say, so we have some 2 hours, 2.5 at 5 o'clock I will have to finish, but anyway, I thought we will do. And
actually, we have only 1.5 hours today.
We have only 1.5 hours today. Okay, so we have to be a little bit like smaller. Okay, then maybe, you know, I will create a part of a code already and I will send to you and we will make some different things together. So it will be like better because we have only 1.5 hours. And so what else I can say? I can tell you about our country a little bit for now. So we are a small country. We have altogether about 2 million people, and our total size of the country is 64,000 square kilometers. But we have 13 universities, and also we like information technologies. In our country, there are good specialists in information technologies. And you, as students of Warsaw Information Technology University, you are welcome also to our universities and to our country as Erasmus students and as internship students, because we have many companies who would accept also interns from other countries. And we already have had good experience with other universities in Poland accepting students for our universities. So in case you are interested, you can also ask me some questions. I can answer about the living in our country, how to get here, what are the things, what are interested for you. And it's, of course, it's interesting to have friendship with both of our countries. And yeah, today, we will have like, if we have only 1.5 hours, we will be quite short. I will now, meanwhile I'm talking, I will prepare a part of my code, so you will get it. So not to start from scratch, but maybe, dear students, you can tell me, do you know Notepad++? So just the editor where we can program, or what kind of programming languages do you know, and what kind of practice you already have had? Which course are you studying? You are the first year students or second year students, etc. And well, let me share part of my code so that I can briefly then and we will just have a look inside them. So I will speak about JavaScript then today, yeah, and if we have less time to study, then I will send you a part of the code so we can easily just go through and yeah, I will organize it. Okay. So give me 1 minute. Okay, so I need to share it with you. Following. So I will send you now the link and you can download it, and then I will share my screen and we will just make the program together. Okay, so now in the chat, please, I'm sending you the link. You can download it, and then we can go through this and decide how we do that. So please take this and please download it, and then I will share my screen and we will go together through this all. And you tell me when you have downloaded it. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen then now. Because, so one more, yeah. So I will share my screen, and then we will do that together. So basically, you see my screen probably now, and I have sent you this file. So let us copy this. I will Chrome, and we will download it, and then I will tell you what to do next. So here we go. So basically, you will have the following files which I have sent you, and you need to just download it to your computer. So here, if you have them in Latvian language, don't worry, but you have here all these things, and you can download them as zip folder, and here you can also switch the language, which one you want. Here, unfortunately, there is no Polish language, but there is English. And if you press here, you can download it as zip file. Dzień dobry. So Hubert, yeah, I am sorry, I don't understand Polish very well, but if I have dzień dobry, czy mogę dostać obecność? So I will try to translate it. Yeah, one moment. And And I will try to answer to you. Yeah, one moment. Yeah, so translate. And here we have Polish language. Yeah, and I will translate it into Latin. So yeah, yes. Oh, Hubert. Okay, yeah, you can get. So I will make that you are present here as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I will mark you as a present because actually I am recording this class and you will see that they will see that you were present here. And when we have this, we have to download it, the folder. So basically I have downloaded here and you have the following, actually, the files. And here you can open them just by extracting and you will have them here. Yeah, so this is the folder. And here are the two folders and one HTML file. And we are going to create a game with you. So I will show you how to do it. So in order to do this, you need some editor. So I'm using the Notepad++, but do you have something like similar to that, or you have something different? So here I will close everything and here let me just have the code here, and here are some pictures which we are going to create, and here is the style CSS. So there are two files, but the next one we will have to create one more thing. So these ones you have, but we are going to speak with to create a new file, and now I want you to create a new file. But meanwhile, please tell me if you have downloaded everything, if everything is okay, or you have them on your computer. So, and if you want to launch now this object, so here in the folder you will have index.html. You can launch it, and you will see that now there is nothing because it is like an empty file, but it is called snake. So, and then we will create the game with you. But before we create, I would like to show you that this is the basic HTML file. So here I have created the script for displaying canvas, and here you will see we will using the game.js script. So we have to create this game.js because without this we will not be able to create the game. And for this purpose, we have to go here and create a new folder. So here we will create a new folder, and we will call it GS because it's here like GS. And in this folder, we have to create a JavaScript file. So we can create here a new file and save it as JavaScript game.js. So here we just have to choose the JavaScript file and write the name like game.js. Well, tell me please if you have this. You see now we have the but we have to save it not here, but we have to save it as basically not here. This one we can delete, but we have to save it in the folder, and so it is in the folder. You see now it's there because then we observe all the path. And here you can see that this file is created. And now we will work with this. So tell me, please, if you have done the following, and if you have some questions, then please ask now. Yeah. Guys, do you hear me well? Do you understand everything? Just give me some feedback. Just write in the chat if everything is understandable and if we can continue. Because basically, if you don't have this Notepad++, I can tell you where to get it. And if you want to have this in your computer, so here you can get the downloads for Notepad++. You can get it there, and you can basically download it here, and you can get the portable version. I can send you this file so that you can have the same editor as me. If you use some other editor, it's also possible because we just need to use the JavaScript file. And tell me please if everything is understandable, if I can continue, or you are still doing the things.
Yes, we can continue.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Then I think. Okay, and first of all, before we start, we have to create the playground, because actually when we create the playground, then we can work. And you see now, as we have this snake here, we have it empty, but in the HTML file, we have defined canvas, and we called it game. I have sent it to you so that we just save some time. And I have defined the width and the height of this canvas. And if you look in the folder of our project, we have EMG folder, and you have the ground file. You see, so here, if you look in the size of this file, you have 608 and 608, basically. This is the size of this file, and this is the size of the playground. So now we are going to display this playground using JavaScript, and it is very easy to do. So what you need to do, you just need to open the JavaScript file and firstly create the constant or variable which corresponds to the object, in HTML file. And this is easily done. We can just write constant. We can create like constant equal canvas, and then we can write document. I'm sorry, document, then get element by ID, and here we just have to create a game. Why I'm using like this, why it is game, because in my HTML file I have ID game, so that's why I am using here also game, because this game.js, this JavaScript file is connected to index.html by this script. So this one we have done, we can save it, but now of course it's not enough to start. We have to create also the context variable, because when we work with 2D graphics, we can use some context, and here we have to create like this. We have to write our object. This is our object, which is like basically the HTML file, and here we get canvas get context like this, and here we will write 2D. Well, this get context basically is necessary to draw something, and I hope you know that there is some kind of W3 schools websites. This is very useful website. I don't know if you use it, but in our country it's very popular. We just refer to this very often. And here you can write, for example, get context and JavaScript, and then you will find basic things with JavaScript and Node.js. But let me see, this is not the right one, but you can say get context JavaScript and W3 schools. Basically, you can find a lot of this information about this here. Yeah, canvas drawing. So here you can see that this is like get context. When you use it, then you can use all these functions, all these methods, basically fill style, stroke style, shadow color, etc. And those functions you can get fill rectangle, for instance, and different objects with movement. So this you are able to use them when you create the get context variable. So this is CTX. So basically then you can refer to this variable afterwards and you will see how it works. And now let us display this playground in our website. So here we need to create another object like const. Here we have to make like ground, yeah, and equals to, we have to now see how do we get, and this is like new object of the type image, and then we are going to create the property of source. So it is ground ground.src and is equal to, we have to make the path. So where is our object located? So to understand where the path is, we can refer to our folder and we can see that the index.html is the root directory. So here we have the EMG folder, and inside EMG we have ground PNG. So basically we need to write EMG here and ground.png here. And this is how we define the path where our object is. And then let us create the method which displays our object, because now if we just save it and if we refresh our snake game, it will not be seen because we haven't defined method of drawing. And in order to do this, we need to create, let's say, so function. We need to create the function. I will call it like draw game, like this. And if we have the function, it is like method without any input values. So here we will create the how to say the display of our elements. And you see now we have to use ctx variable as a context. So we just create the method ctx, and now we can refer to all the ctx methods. And I have already closed it, but there is a kind of method draw image. Yeah, so and if you draw image, you have to now figure out which image to draw. So the image you want to draw is the ground. So this is like the name of the image is ground. So we just make here ground, and we need to mention where are the coordinates. And before I start drawing, I can show you that if you have empty place, this point is set to be coordinates 0 and 0. And below here goes like y goes increasing, and here x increases. So if we start 0, 0, we will appear here. Or maybe it will be in the center, let's say. So if we have the CSS, yeah, it will be like in the center. So here I will write 0 and 0, and basically that's all. But if I now start drawing it, let me refresh. So nothing happens because we need to call this function. And if we want to call this function, we have to understand that there is an animation, and because the game is dynamic all the time, we have to refresh it. And then we can make a variable game, and this will be there is a special function set interval which defines animation. And here you are going to create what you want to animate. You will animate the function draw game. And here you can write some speed in microseconds. So before you have delivered some speed, you can get like speed, let speed equals 100, yeah, or something like this. It means that there will be 100 microseconds. And at the moment, I see that everything is done to display the game. And if we just refresh it, then you can see that we have this displayed. Yeah, you see, so we have this game displayed, and here also pay attention, I have the button reload. This is different here. So this button makes the game reloading, and in case you want to reload the game, it is going to be here. Well, at the moment, I want to ask you if you have the same, and if you don't have it, I can send you the code which I just have written, so you can also have the same. So what about you? Can we continue, or you still have some questions? Maybe something is not understandable. What can you tell, guys? Everything okay? You can continue. Okay, thank you, Alexander. And now we can go forward, and you see we have written already a part of the game. And here you see this is the image which we displayed, and this is already very interesting image. This is the playground. I specially made it so that is easy to program. And now we are going to program the game. And let us display the things like, let us display the snake and the food. You know, the game will look like this. Basically, there will be a snake going around, and I hope you played Snake. And there will be also some kind of food pieces, and she needs to eat it. So first of all, I would like to introduce one thing. So here is this box, and if you count the number of boxes, you will see that it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There are 19 boxes, 19 cells, and let us define the how to say the size of each cell, and it's easy to define if we take calculator, and we know that the width of this picture is 608, and we divide it by 19, we will get 32. So it means that the size of each of the cell will be 32 times 32, and that's why it is rather important to create a kind of a variable like let's say so box equals to 32, because then we will use it in our programming. And we can also define some kind of score. It will be 0, because you know that with this score we can easily see how many pieces of food the snake has eaten. And now let us now try to display the food. And in order to display the food, there is a special picture. You see food PNG. So let us display that. And in order to display this, we can easily repeat the same thing. So we can create the same constant, but here we are going to create another name for it. I can say like food image, and if we have the food image, now here we have this food PNG. This is a source because it has another name. And what we can do, we can now create the picture. And if we want to draw the food, we can write like CTX, draw game, draw image, and here we can write food. But now we have to think about coordinates, because if we write 0 and 0, I hope you understand that this food will be displayed actually in the top left corner here. You see, if I'm just refreshing, it is just displayed here, and moreover, there is some kind of over things, and here we have food. You see, it goes up, and here it's not like food EMG, but we have to write like food EMG better, because then it will be displaying the thing like this, not like other things, because food is not like this PNG here. So let us try to refresh it, and we can see, one moment. Here we have food EMG. Yeah, it's new image and ground. Here we have to make ground source. No, we have to make it like here, because otherwise it is not understanding where to get this food. And this is ground source food EMG. And now we will see that it was going to be here. But our task is to create it only inside the playground. So here we will use a little bit of mathematics and logical functions to understand how it is. And in order to do this, we have to create here some kind of coordinates. And I propose we can create a kind of a variable here. Let's say so it will be the variable. And sorry. And it will be like the variable food. And here we have, let's say so, X and Y components. We can have X component and Y component. And here we can write like, you know, we have introduced this box, and we can write, for example, 5 times box, and here we can write also 5 times box. And you can see what will happen. And here, instead of the 0, we can write food.x and food.y. And now we can see that our snake will be equal here. You see, so this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because we start from 0. And here also 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. But now we need to create a kind of limitation for this food, and then we have to use some mathematical functions. So we can create not like this, but we can create here, instead of 5, we can make some kind of randomization function, and let us create it the following. First of all, we can create the function which is randomization. We have this math random function. Yes, math random. This is a special function which is used for generating the random number, but this generates the random number from 0 to 1, and it is not useful for our case, because then we will not be able to have it stretched in the whole playground. So that's why I'm multiplying it by 17. And why I'm multiplying this by 17 and making +1? Because when we have it like this, when you have here is the playground, you can see that this one is 0, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You see, this is 1 from 17. So if you start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. But when you have it multiplied by 17, it means that you will never receive 17. You will receive a number which is smaller than 17, and you will receive number from 0. But if we get from 0, it can be also here. But here we don't need, and that's why we make it +1. And here it would be interesting to see also the same happens here. Basically, we can write the following here, but here we have to count another case, because here we have only starting from 3, because here above you can 1 line, 2 line, 0, 1, 2, and 3, and here we start from fourth line. For third line, that's why we have it +3. Here we start from the first line, and that's why. But here it's better to use 15, because you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Here the amount of cells is smaller. And now you can save it, and you can see when you just reload the game, and you can have here the reload button, you see, and all the time the food appears in different place. But as you see now, the food is not precisely in the root, and this is not good, because you will have to make it exactly into the root, and in order to make it not root it exactly into the cell, and if you want to make it exactly into the cell, you have to have the integer one. And here you don't have integer at the moment, because random number is a real number. You just can have any number there, 0.577, etc. But if you want to get an integer number, you can get it rounding to the lowest, taking only the integer part. And in JavaScript, it is like math floor. So this math floor actually function, but you have to open this and close this again, because this is the math floor function. And then you can get the same here. So you can make it Control and write math floor, and then you can insert it here. So in this case, you will have the following. Basically, now you can see that you will get exactly into the cell, and now you will be able to have the food exactly into the cell. Okay, Ilya, I understand that you cannot join the meeting while you're doing some documents. Okay. Well, and guys, is it understandable, and do you need some time to rewrite the code, or can we continue? Or maybe you have some questions at the moment. Guys, how is it? Is it all understandable, or just want to ask something? Because later on I will send you all this code, because we don't have a lot of time, as I understand, and you inform me when you have when your time is going down.
I have one question.
Yes.
Can we go to the
right.
Opera?
Okay. Oh, sorry, Opera. Maybe this Chrome, yeah, here.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes when I refresh, the food is disappeared.
Sometimes you refresh and food disappears. Are you sure then that your code is the same?
Yes, it's the same.
It's interesting. It could not be so. Maybe it is because of some refreshment rate, etc. And you have also the same set interval here, yeah? So the same.
Yes, I have the same.
Very interesting. Maybe.
No, it sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does, but please check if you have box here and if you have all the numbers like this, because it is important. If you have different numbers here,
it's 15, no 17. Okay.
yeah. Okay, here 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's this
Here 15.
mistake.
Yeah, this is important because
Okay.
I
Thank
tell
you.
you why. Because here you have 15 cells in the position. And if you have 17, it will be here below. Exactly. Yeah, that's why it disappears. Yeah, you understood.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay. So, as I understand, now we can continue. And let us take to the most interesting thing, because now we have created the food, but now we have to create the snake. And this is the most interesting case, because you know arrays, we will have to create a snake as array, because the snake itself is, you know, when you, it will be firstly like one little square moving, but later when it eats the how to say, when it eats the food, then it will become longer. Do you understand it? Yeah. And the snake will become longer. That's why it's important to create a snake as array. I hope you understand what array is. Like array, this is a special, I don't know what is the name in Polish for array. If you want, you can write me in the chat how do you call arrays in Polish. But yeah, in Latvian language we call them massives. So yeah, it's, but if you create array, you can create snake, and it is equal to this kind of open array. So basically it means that as soon as we have a lot of memory, we can add elements to this array. And let us define firstly the first element of the array. As you know, elements of the array are starting from 0. So the element number 0 will be, and we will define it with the coordinates like we define the food, because it's easier. In JavaScript, you can easily get this. So like, yeah, Szereg. Okay, thank you, Martina.
Yes.
Szereg. Thank you, Martina, because I like Polish language, and I very often go through Poland, you know, to other countries, and I stay in Poland, and I hope with your university we will have good cooperation. And I understand some Polish language, but still I need to learn. So this is interesting.
Yeah, it's very hard language to learn.
Yeah, it is with pronunciation, you know, sometimes it's like, I remember one student came to our university and he told me to have this a kind of a little phrase in Polish, but it was so difficult to repeat because it was full of different consonants and you have to learn how to repeat it. So, okay, I will introduce the same X and Y for snake, but we will make it like, you know, in the center. Let's make it in the center, and to be short, I know that the center will be, if we program it, X will be 9 times box and Y will be like 10 times box. So just believe me that this is the center, because I'm just, I can show why it is, but this is easier to just tell, because then it is clear that it is in the center. And we will have this snake to display, and I will display it in the following way. I have to go to the draw game function, and here I will have to display the snake. So actually I can write the snake as it is, but I don't have the picture for the snake. That's why instead of the picture I have to draw the rectangle of the size of one cell, and that's why again I have to use CTX, because CTX is the context which allows us to use some functions. So here I'm putting CTX, and here I will write another function. It will be fill rect. So fill rect stands for making the rectangle. And basically, if I open and close here, I will create the fill rect. And in the fill rect function, if you want to know how to do it, you can just go to fill rect, you know, and JavaScript. And here you can write like W3 schools, for instance. Then you can learn the syntaxes how you write it. So here, if you open this method of fill rect, you know that here, basically, in order to start it, you need to show, it should be known here, it draws this kind of fill at the position of 2020. So firstly, you need to get the position of that point, and then you have to learn what is the width and height of this rectangle. And it means that here you have to draw the position. Well, the position, of course, is defined here. I can just use it for the position here. So, of course, X position and, of course, Y position. Yeah. So, and then, of course, you need to tell how long will be your rectangle, and it will be the size of will be box and the box. That's why I introduced those box, because this box is easy to tell. Well, now let us see what we have. I just save this and I open my browser and refresh, and we can see that we have a black snake. But snake is not usually black. Black snake is not either. Let's make it green. And if we make it green, so we have to create another CTX value, and we can create fill style. So if we make fill style, you can also Google this, how you can make the syntax of fill style. But before you Google this, I want to remind you, I am using the CTX get context. If you Google what is get context, you will see all the methods which allow you to be used using this get context. It's like a library of methods which you can use. That's why I'm using this get context. That's why I'm writing here CTX. Without this, it will not possible. Of course, you can name here different name. You can give it a different name, but you need to write it as well here. And here you just need to show what kind of fill style, but it is not a method. It is like a variable, and you can make it, let's say so, green. Let's make it like this. Yeah, it's not a method. It's just the fill style. You define the style for this. And if you refresh, it is going to be green. Well, later on, I will show you how to create different snake with different things, but actually now it is green, and now we have to create the following. So we have to make this snake displayed, and we need to understand that the snake can be larger. It can be consisting of not only one rectangle, of different rectangles, and that's why we have created that the snake basically is array. So here snake is like sharing. Yes, I will just write it like this. And that's why we will need to display, in order to display all the snake, we just need to create the cycle. And that's why we will create the cycle, and we will put these guys into the cycle, because we need to display all of the snake, but then we will have to create here some iteration, etc. So here we can get let I equals 0, and let's say so 0 and until. So you know the cycle. I hope I can write snake length. So the snake length is basically the length of our shereg, yeah. And then of course we need to iterate I accordingly by increasing iteration. And then it is going to be like this. And what is left here, we just need to create I and I, yeah. And of course now you know that you will display everything like here, but nothing changes because I didn't define any more. So I can define, for instance, here I will just have, I will show you, I can define the first element of the snake and make it like here 11, and you will see that then the snake will consist of 2 elements. But we don't need it because we will make another interesting thing. We are going to create the dynamical snake that it can move. And at the moment, in order to to make the snake move, let us create some kind of information, some kind of code which will allow snake move. And we understand that snake is array, and you need to understand another thing, what is unshift. And this function, this method is very important to understand. Before we go here, let us find what is unshift in W3 schools. You can see unshift JavaScript and W3 schools. Yeah, so this is a good explanations in W3 schools. I like it. And what is array unshift? Here, this is a good example. For instance, you can try yourself. You see, so here, well, if I return back, you have an array which consists of fruits. We have banana, orange, apple, and mango. And fruits unshift, you can see, you can get some kind of snake unshift. Method adds elements to the beginning of the array. So basically, if you write unshift, for example, snake unshift, then it means that it will add some elements to the array. And it means that your snake will be larger. And maybe if you have learned assembly language, you know that how to get the element out of the array or out of the stack, then it means there is a different command pop. And this like array pop means that it deletes one of the array elements. So if you have a, you see, if you run it, then firstly you have 4 elements, but if you write fruits pop, it will delete the last element in the array, namely the mango, and you will have only this. So we will use those things in order to create snake moving forward and backward. But here now I will refresh because I have only one thing. And now let me show you how do I make that the snake is moving. So it is basically very simple, but you need to understand that you are refreshing the game. And I can write just the following. I need to introduce a kind of a new variable which I will change because I need to remember the first position of the snake, and that's why I will introduce a kind of a snake x coordinate which will be equal to snake x, snake 0 x, let's say. So we will remember the first element of the snake by x, and the same the first element by y direction. Yeah, so we need it because it will be then changed. So here this one is 0, and now we can see very interesting case that we can create a new head of the snake, and we can create like we can create the new head of the snake. So we can create like let new head of the snake is going to be x will be like that, yeah, and y will be like this. Okay, so we have created the new head for the snake, and now we have to create unshift. So what we will have, snake dot unshift, and here what we have to unshift, we have to add some elements. Let us make new head, because remember, unshift means that we add one more element to our array, and it will become a new element here. So if we now change and show what we have, nothing will really happen because we don't have any dynamics. And we have to understand that this is the animation. So we can introduce here in between the dynamics, and I can introduce, for example, like this, snake x, and I know that this one is very often used in JavaScript. But if you understand what is this, this is the same as snake x is equal snake x plus box. So, but you see, this is large, but I like this short. And you see what will happen. Now the snake will move forward, and you see it is moving, and you all the time are unshifting. You are unshifting the snake, and it means that all the time your array appears to be larger and larger, because you all the time are adding elements to the array, and the cycle shows you all the elements of the array. But before you have to go forward, then you have to understand that then here you can introduce the snake pop. And if you make snake pop, then it means that you will delete the last element of the snake, and then it will be moving like this. Do you understand it, and do you get the idea of this? Maybe you have questions about it, and please, I open you the code, and please ask me some questions. I will try to explain how it works. So if everything is understandable, then write me that it's okay.
All is clear.
All is clear, yeah? Okay, very nice. And then we can get the following. The next thing is we have to make a kind of a possibility for snake to move to certain direction only if we press our buttons on the keyboard, because maybe you know how to do it, how to create that the snakes is moving only when we press a button on the keyboard. And if you don't know this, then I can give you a possibility to see. If you have to know the key codes, and there is a very good website, keycode.info, then you can create for JavaScript all the key codes. Well, this works for JavaScript, but this can be used for JavaScript. You see, now I have activated this, and if I press the spacing bar, you have 32. If I'm pressing arrow up, you have 38. If I'm pressing arrow down, you have 40. If I'm pressing arrow left, you can 37. If I'm pressing arrow right, you have 39. And those 4 codes you need to remember, because we are going to speak with those things. But in order to create those things, we have to introduce some kind of thing here. So it's better to show not only like snake is box, but we have to know some kind of directions. So I can make here if direction, for example. I will introduce the direction afterwards, but you know, when you compare strings, you have to use also double equation sign, and not only when you compare strings, but also when you compare. And if you, for example, make if direction is left, then you create, for example, like this. Snake is going to minus box. Now I will delete it because you know this. And here, if direction is right, then we will create snake x is equal, no, so that's plus equal box, so we will add box here, and we can make it if direction is up, then we can make what will be here snake y, yes, snake y minus equal box, and if direction is down, then snake y plus equal box. I hope you understand it very well, but as you are programmers, you probably understand that we need to create, we need to define this variable, because we don't have this variable. And let us go to above definitions, and here let us define some kind of variables. Yeah, so here we have this one, and here we have this one. So basically here somewhere we can define the variable dir. JavaScript will understand that it is going to be like this. And now we need to also create a function which writes value inside this dir variable, because now we see that we have created a dir variable, but it doesn't have any values. We can write it manually, but now it will not happen. And if you just refresh the game, it will be just the same. And if you press anything, nothing will change. Yeah, so only so how to create that it is moving according to our key codes. Remember, I showed you the key codes. Then you have to create the add event listener. I hope you understand this. It is also a very important part in JavaScript. So event listener allows you to listen to what keys you are putting down. And there are also very important things that here you can write key down, but there is also the thing if you have key up and key pressed. So there are different options here. You can Google this and you can see. And let us call some function direction. So here you just call the function direction, and on the action, on the event, when you just press the key down. And you have introduced this direction variable dir, and now let us define another function direction, but it depends on the event. So that's why we are putting here event, and we have to define the function. So here in this function, we are going to speak about what kind of direction we will get if we have some kind of code. So if you can write, if you have the listener to the key code, and you know that in JavaScript you have those key codes, this, for example, 37. If you have, for example, like up or left, let us start from the left thing. So if you have pressed the left arrow, so this is 37. So in case you key code, but before you write event, you have to write event.keycode is equal, again, you write double sign to 37. Then you can get what? You can get direction is equal to left. Yeah. So, oh, sorry, somewhere I just disappeared. So direction is left. So if we just save it, and now we have done those things. So actually we have programmed these things, and we have programmed also these things. Now it shall work. If I press the left button, it shall go to the left. Let us check. So if we have here, I am refreshing, of course, I'm pressing the left button and it goes left. So of course it goes left, and now I don't have any possibility to press other buttons, but I can quickly program the other buttons. So I can make those 4 events, and here I can write, for example, just up. Here I can write right, and here I can write down. But I need to change the keys. If you remember that here, if we go here, if you press up, it's 38, right 39, down 40. So it means that here it will be 38, 39, and 40. And now you just save it, and let us refresh the game, and now we can play. Yeah. So you see all the buttons are working, but I don't like that I can change the direction to opposite very quickly. When your snake is very large, changing direction to opposite will make you a little bit how to say, inconvenient, because you will not see your snake moving. And that's why it's better if you make here additional request. So and event, no, maybe it's better like write to dir is not equal, this exclamation mark. So it cannot be equal to right. So it means that you cannot suddenly change direction to the opposite. If you're going left, you can go up or down, but you cannot go exactly backward. And if you have here, you can get it like direction is not equal to. So here, if you go up, it cannot be equal down. Yeah. So here you can add. Remember, so these two asterisks this is and. So direction cannot be equal to the left. Yeah. And then here direction cannot be up. Direction cannot be up, And here, if we have it like this, let us check what we have. And you see you cannot move up or down. So now it will be only the possibility to go through. But still you can go inside and outside the canvas, and it is not good. So here we will use some logic in order to stop it somewhere. Not to stop it, but in order to limit the possibility to move. I hope you understand how it is done, but let me quickly see. We have only half an hour left, so let us try to create a kind of how to say, basic thing that our snake will stop. So here we have to return to the place where we have this directions. Here we have this stop, and then we can get like if and here we have if something happens, if the snake comes to one of the borders, then we have a clear interval, and here we write our ID for game. So it means that if this comes true, then it will be a clear interval. And now let us try to create. For example, let us analyze what happens. If it goes, for example, here, you see, so here is the x value of the snake is box. So if it goes here, the snake value of x will be smaller than box. So we can get here snake x smaller than box. And you can see that this will go through. Now, if we return back, if we go here, it will stop. You see, it means that clear interval will stop the game, and you will have it like that. So first of all, now we can create OR with parallel lines, and we can create also direction for other case. So you see here is 0 box, 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 is the last, but if you have larger, then you will stop. So it means that here you have to write or snake x is larger than 17 times box. So if you have the following, now if you create this and if you move it in this direction, it will also stop. And of course we can create the same for y. So we can say snake y smaller than, but now we have to see. Remember, there was a little bit more space, and that's why I will write 3 times box, because we have 3 lines. And snake y will be larger than 17 times box also, so it will be staying for that. And now we can see, we can really play this game, and we can also see that it will stop, and it will stop also if we go here, and it will stop also if we go here. I hope you understand it. And do you have everything like this? Maybe you have some questions. Please tell me if there are some questions, or if you need to wait. And now we are going to program the thing when the snake eats the food, because it's also interesting when we get to the food, then the food shall appear to the next place, and then we have to increase the snake one more time. So let us see how it goes, and let us now try to see. But do you have any questions before that? Everything understandable?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so now let us program the thing if snake meets a food. So we will have to use if and maybe else. But for now, let's move if. So then if we have something, then of course we will make score, but we need to display score. We will display score afterwards. We will show how to display the score. And also we will have to introduce the new food. but the food was defined here. So let us make this food here and let us just create it again. It will be somewhere like this. So we just have to copy this and make it look nicer. So something like this. So it is not like clumsy looking place, but somehow like that. And then it is okay. Now we have to clarify only the condition when we have, and of course we have this snake x. This is the new head of the snake, and should be equal to food x. Yes, should be equal to food.x. And of course, simultaneously with this thing, we have to do the same with y. And here I have one thing. Yeah, so this is like in x instead of y, and y instead of x, and y here. And now let us see how it goes. So we can refresh it, and now we can move, and let us move the food, and we can get it. You see, all the time the food appears in different place. So you understand, guys. And you can play it, but it's not good that your snake is not increasing in its length. Maybe you know how to make it increasing in length, how to make it so that it increases in its length. Do you know this case, how to do that? And it is very simple, but we need to understand the principle, how it works. I told you before that if you remove this snake pop, what will happen? Okay, I will not remove it, I will comment it. And look what will happen. If you remove this snake pop, then you will write like this. You see, all the time the snake, so it's very difficult to play. And that's why pop all the time removes. Each time you move forward, it removes backwards. Each time you move forward, it removes backwards. But what happens here if I write here like this? I will write here else, and I will write here like that. So what will happen in this case? If I do like this, then one single time when snake comes onto the foot, it will skip the pop operation, and then one time the snake will be larger. And this is works like this, you see. So it's very simple. You have the following. Is it understandable? So now we have to make the score. And I think you know this way if you understand this. Okay, so we can make it nicer. So we can create this like that and like this. So it is like good in programming style. And then we can create also the, how to say, some kind of information on our score, because we didn't know where to write the score. And I can write the score somewhere here. So again, I will using CTX context, and I will using field style and make it, for example, white, because white score can be. Then we can create font, and it will be like, let us use some 50px Arial for the simple modification. And then let us create CTX field style, field text. There should be field text, and here we just write score. Remember, I had the score here. I have introduced it, yeah, 0, and here I'm just putting it up. And remember, this is the animation, so all the time it refreshes. So here we have to make some coordinates. Let's make it like box, for example, times 3 and box times 2. And then we will adjust if it's necessary. And then, of course, we need to write text. So CTX field text. For example, Oh no, it's okay. Maybe we can do like this, you know, score, and here we can write like score or is, and here plus, yeah, like that. Well, let us see now how it goes, and you see score is, and how it will go forward. So something like this. Okay, and but I don't like that it's going here. Maybe I will try to create a little bit different shifting. Maybe here 2.5, and oh sorry, something is falling. 2.5, and here I'm sorry, I will quickly answer the call. And hello. Yeah. Yeah. Aha, aha. Tā, bet es esmu Polijā tagad. Es tagad būšu Polijā līdz nedēļas beigām. Varbūt jūs varat pazvanīt tam manam kolēģim, kas, nu, es devu vienreiz telefonu. Jā, jā, jā. Ā, 20. Nu, es nezinu, vai es atgriezīšos. Man pirmdien jābūt Liepājai vispār. Nu, tur es pats gluži nevaru. Bet cikos tad tur ir? Labāk pazvaniet viņam. Es domāju, ka viņam būs lielāka iespēja. Aha, nu jā. Labi, jā. Jā, paldies. Jā, 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 jā. Labi, ja kāds tad zvanīt, jā. Labi. Yeah. I'm sorry, it was like for the work, but you heard Latvian language, how it sounds. Yeah. Okay, so now I have made a little bit correction, and maybe now it will be better. No, you see, now it is a little bit better, but I'm not going into details. You understood how to do it, and you can make the size of these letters larger, smaller, and so on. You are clever guys. Yeah. And what else is needed? So basically, we have done almost everything, but we need to create also a kind of condition when the snake goes into herself. Then it also needs to stop the game, because when you have, you know, I mean, like the snake is like, you know, like this, for instance, yeah, and it shall eat itself when it cannot eat itself. So let us create a kind of a function where we have the snake which eats itself, and I will show you how to do that, so you will understand how to use this function creating. So let us create a function, let's say, so eat tail, for instance, but it's better to if I write one letter like this, because it will be easier to understand. And here let us introduce some two actually different, how to say, two different things. Here will be head and array. Array is our snake, but head is our first element of the snake. So I hope you understand it. So here, like the new head, which is like the head of the snake, the first element of the snake is that. And here, of course, we need to scan all of the things. So we need to scan the like this. We can copy basically this text here, because we can copy this here. Of course, we don't need those two guys, and we will delete them. And here we can introduce only not snake but array, because here it will be our certain variable which is used exactly for this function, but you can put anything inside then afterwards inside the full body of the code. So here I think you understand that here we have the cycles where we have some kind of array, and we go through all these array, and here we have the new head of the snake. And of course we have here if, and for this if, again we will have clear interval game. So this basically, if snake eats itself, then the game will stop. But here we need to understand that this new head is our new head. So head.x shall be equal to array 0 .x, let's say. So yeah, and head.y shall be equal to array 0.y. So this is the condition for this function, but now we have to use this function in our programming code. But you need to remember, this is like object-oriented. So here we can create this function, but we don't have head, we have new head. So we will have the new head, and here instead of array, we have snake. And that is basically all. So now we can launch the game and let us see how it goes. So let us get some score. I am not a good player, especially if it's necessary to eat a lot of elements, but now you see, it doesn't work, I think. Yeah, it still doesn't work. It still doesn't work, but I want to see why. So here we have eat tail, and here we have new head and snake. Yes, so everything is like that, but let us try to see what we have in this function. I didn't save it, so I think I didn't save it. So let us try to launch again. And yeah, here, if I start playing, it will be again the size of the snake. Again, it doesn't. No, it doesn't work. Let us try to see why. Here we have let me check this one. So function eat tail, and here you have har and array. So here you have head y, head x is actually if head x is equal to I understand. I have to put here I because it is comparing only the heads, but it should compare the whole body of the snake, and this is the mistake which I had. So let me check now. You see, now I made it somehow. So let us try it again. Maybe you will see how it works. So, and meanwhile, you can tell me, is it everything understandable, or do you have the same also inside your computers? Yeah, you see, so it works. Or maybe you have some questions. All understand, yeah? Okay, so basically we have done almost everything. If you want, I can send you this code. Do you need it, or you have everything? So maybe I will send it because you are more. Maybe some of you have done. Some of you maybe have come later and you don't have the possibility to do this. So I will send you. I have actually the whole code somewhere also here in my computer. We were doing it together with my students, and I will send you this ready code as well, so you can use it if you want, and you can modify that also. So this one is I will just drop you this file in case you like it. You can just check. And there are some also different possibilities to create some kind of additional thing. For instance, we can create very interesting how the snake is not like only green, but it is a little bit different colors. And you see here is green, but let us create like this, is equal I equals 0, for example, then it is green. And in other words, it is red. Let us see how it works. And this we can write like that in CSS JavaScript, yeah. And here you can create the following. You see now it will be red. and all the time it will be red, only head will be. But I can create like this. If I percentage 2, let's say so, what will happen like that? Let me. It's very hard to get it, but you see now it is like that. I hope you understand why I have written like percentage, because this is mod, and this is like it checks the rest when you divide, if it is like remainder is 0 or 1. Well, guys, we have only 10 minutes left, and I hope that you understood everything. Tell me, please, honestly, was it difficult or easy? Maybe tell me about your experience in programming, whether you had something similar, or maybe it was boring for you because maybe you already programmed this game. Who knows? And what kind of stuff you can already do, and what kind of languages do you know? Tell me something. It is interesting also to compare both universities, how we study there. No questions, yeah. Okay, so then what else? I wish you good, nice holidays, because I think soon there will be Christmas and New Year. It was a pleasure to work with you, also to show you something. I hope you liked it. Then maybe some of our teachers will also come to your university, maybe I again, and we meet one more time. But thank you for coming to the class. It was a pleasure for me to work with you. Yeah, and yeah, wishing you all the best. Yeah.
Okay, Patrick, thank you very much for your amazing workshop. I am sure our students enjoyed it very much. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, yeah. In case you want to have some questions about the university, I will write my email. Yeah, here in the chat. And you know, yeah. So if you want to visit our university like Erasmus student, and so please don't hesitate. Just write me an email. I will consult. Yeah. Okay. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Goodbye.